Hi, my name is Audrey Brown. I've always been interested in art since I was little. I grew up on a farm in Iowa, and I just like nature, and since that's something that I grew up around, I think that's probably why I'm a landscape artist. It's something I can relate to. I tried different art as I was growing up, different styles and stuff, but you always kind of, I think, come back to your roots. I really like landscapes. I really like the Driftless area. A lot of these pieces are from around between, I would say, on the outskirts of DeWitt, going through Maquoketa up towards Bellevue. And I plan on doing, I have a lot of photographs of like the Wisconsin Driftless area, and I want to work on kind of portraying the Driftless area, the fields and the streams and just the nature of the area. I think it's really beautiful. If I can catch like early morning fog or late night, or well, not late night but evening, I like those times obviously because it's just kind of, I don't know, the fog is kind of magical, but I like all different times of the day. But I'm very drawn to like I don't know, the lighting, the mood, the fog. It just kind of creates a really fun atmosphere to work with. I've always liked water. I've worked with it for a long time, so I guess when I look at things in my photograph, I don't, if it's water or tree or the grasses or whatever, I just look at it as shapes, and so I'm imitating shapes, and I'm trying to, by going out in the field, we go quite a bit to go for drives, my boyfriend and I, and getting out and taking photographs, you get a feel for it. But I do like to kind of, I'm trying to loosen up a little bit, but I also like the photorealism in art, and I think that you can kind of see that probably in this piece a little bit. But yeah, I love water, and I don't know, water is pretty fun to do. I think it's challenging, but I enjoy doing the challenge and seeing how it comes out. A lot of the pieces here are from an area that's a trout stream called Big Mill that's in Bellevue, Iowa, in the countryside, and we spend a lot of time walking around and taking pictures in that area. And I've really been drawn to Big Mill, and then kind of like traveling from the Quad Cities up there, pictures along the way, and just stopping and coming back. So that's kind of, this is, I guess it's like, the drive from home up to Bellevue, get out, do some nature stuff, and then, back home. So this is, I think, kind of the representation of that. I currently just work off of photographs that I take. I like to work small as well as large. I think it's kind of like zooming in on the landscape. I like just playing with different sizes. And I'll work with a certain size for a while because it's just like with the 12 by 12s, I think it's kind of fun to see them progress. I'll try to do a series and then I'll do a small. And so and then I'll jump over and I'll do some large stuff. And now I have some plans for some larger pieces that I want to work on that are kind of based in the same area. And so it's like it just kind of, one thing will play off of another. I'm going to be looking at Wisconsin next for the Wisconsin Driftless area. But I also have some stuff that I'm not done with from this area. Like, I'm really fascinated by like the rocks that have come down from that have fallen down the bluffs and stuff, and have the flowers and the different things that are on them and the moths and everything. I have some plans to do some of those, and kind of like where you're looking at the trees going up the hill. So I want to keep exploring it and pushing it, and seeing where it takes me. And I find for me, like, if I have a question, when I was younger, I used to kind of get hung up on it, but I find if I just work and I sleep on it, the answers kind of come. So I just keep working, and then the answers, it kind of leads me where it wants to go, and I just follow, like, oh, okay, this sounds like a fun piece, or this looks like a fun piece to do, and I try it out and see if it, like, during the sketch, if it's gonna be something that I like, or, okay, let's try a different piece and come back to that later. So yeah, I definitely want to add on to this. And I tend to have multiple pieces going at one time, so if I have a problem with one, rather than kind of getting hung up on it, I can just kind of let it percolate and figure out, like I said, sleep on it, what's going on with that, and then I start working on another one. I've joked it's sort of like a Henry Ford assembly line, but it's not really quite that mechanical. I think that's just more of a humorous thing to kind of describe it. As I'm getting a little bit older, I'm like learning, like, nothing in life is perfect, nothing, you just try your best. Try to be, just work on it, and don't try to make things perfect, because there's no such thing as perfection. Just have fun with it. And I think that, that's important, because otherwise you just, you know, it takes the fun out of work. And I think if it's not a fun thing, then it kind of shows up in your work. So you gotta just relax and let it flow a little bit. And I sit and I listen to book tapes and things about nature and rewilding and, you know, what's going on with the land and conservation. And this stuff speaks to me because I really care about our waterways and I care about nature. And I think that's one of the reasons you don't see man-made structures in my work. I think it's a bit of romanticism on my part. I like to kind of just take people to a place and that I'm relaxed so that they can have that magical feeling too and relax. And that's what I'm trying to portray, is just kind of, there's nature out there, and get out there and see it and, you know, enjoy it and de-stress a little bit, because life these days is pretty hectic for everyone and kind of stressful, and getting out in nature can do a lot to make people feel better, I think. I think a lot of people think of Iowa as flat, but when you get into like the driftless part and like the river bluffs and stuff, there's just, it's fabulous. I mean, there's still things that we're discovering all the time, and I'm like, I've driven past this road, you know, how many times, and then we'll take a right on it. I'm like, oh, wow, you know, this is fabulous. This area in Iowa and Wisconsin to me are just as beautiful as any area in the country. And it's wonderful because it's kind of in our backyard, and it's just, all you got to do is go out and enjoy it. I mean, it's there's so much that it gives back, and I really feel appreciative of the landscape that is here.